locally owned and a certified woman-owned small business, and is dedicated to delivering 100% all-natural products since 2009. All of their products are made right here in the United States. So head over to healingbottoms.com and take your life back again.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Whew, if there's any doubt that winter was going to settle in, it's a very chilly day. And hey, I will say this, if the weather forecast holds up, it's going to be warm again next week. So I hope that helps a little bit, that there is some warmth coming our way. Although, man, it's very toasty in the WCPT 820 studios. And that sort of hot, you're cold outside, you come in and you're hot, so you've got to make sure that you hydrate. So please hydrate, keep your lotions handy so that your skin doesn't get dry and cracked, because that can lead to problems, especially because we're washing our hands so much during this pandemic. So just a couple things to remind you of. I know it's for some of you, like, I know I should be drinking water, and some of us don't drink enough water. I actually start every single day with some warm water. I heat up a big mug of warm water, sometimes two, before I even have coffee or tea, just to hydrate, just to wake up a little bit. So I don't know why I'm sharing that with you. I just felt that it was important. As we start our show, again, it is Tuesday, December 7th, and I hope that you're happy, healthy, and safe wherever you are right now. And again, we have our signal changes after the sun goes down. So if you're having trouble hearing me on your radio, in the car or in your kitchen, switch to TuneIn Radio. TuneIn Radio app. You can listen to our live stream on heartlandsignal.com as well. And you know what? I have to check in with our friends on Facebook who watch the live stream every single day. And that's a great place not only to listen to the show or watch the show, but also some great folks who are having a conversation. And when I can't get to every single comment there, they do a great job of back and forth and carrying on the conversation as well. We have our YouTube channel, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get alerts for when we go live. And there's so many ways to follow us. And don't forget Heartland Signal on Twitter at Heartland Signal. Tonight I am at Zany's. I want to congratulate our friend James, who has a pair of tickets for the show tonight. And if you want to make last minute plans, hey Lady B, do you mind if I give away another pair of tickets during the show today? Is that cool? All we need is a name at the door. So if anyone wants to make last minute plans to go to Zany's tonight, we have a couple tickets. The club is on Wells, over by there in Old Town. It's at North Avenue and Wells, and it's the oldest comedy club in Chicago. They recently celebrated over 40 years in comedy. It's a great little storefront comedy club. They're doing a great job of making sure that folks are safe. They're checking vaccinations, and folks are masking up. The show time is at 8, so if you're like, you're in your car now, you're like, you know what? I could use a good laugh. It has been wonderful to have audiences again and listen to the sound of laughter. It's just I'm very blessed to have a career in comedy and have the delight to bring some laughter to folks every once in a while. So come on out if you're interested. And if you aren't able to win a pair of tickets and you are coming to the show tonight, I have T-shirts to give away, and just as a little gift, as a thank you. So let me know that you heard it on WCPT, and I will give you a T-shirt. Hopefully I have your size. We've got Dave on Hoffman Estates who's already ready to go. You know what, Dave, I was thinking about you because you asked me a question yesterday about the percentage of the military personnel that have not been vaccinated. So I looked it up while I was doing some research on other topics today, and yes, there are the unvaccinated military members. They have a deadline of December 15th, so we're right up against it. And there are thousands of military personnel that are not getting vaccinated. But what was on your mind? I didn't mean to jump on that.
The VA, the ones working in the VA hospitals, there's a big, I wanted to say there was probably about 56,000 of them yet, and they were supposed to have been, their deadline was earlier.
Right, because they're treating people, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And, well, you know me, it's usually military junk I'll dig up, but...
That's not military. Hey, you know what, Dave, I have to tell you something. In a show I used to do, because I had more time, we could build like different segments, and I used to have a segment called Semper Film. Did I ever tell you? I think I told you. I was at the Recruit Depot in San Diego for a week. They embedded some educators and media personalities to cover it, and I got to stand on the yellow feet, and I won't tell you how badly I did on the course in the sand and all that, but we used to have a segment called Semper Film, and we would watch military movies with young Marines, and it was one of my favorite things to do, and I'm trying to figure out a way to bring that back. So it's not military junk is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking like you're talking about doing some of the stuff. There's no way I could do the stuff I did 40-some years ago. I'd die.
Yeah. Believe me, I was like, I was 45 when I did it. I'm like, okay, this. I don't even know if I could have done this when I was 18. It was tough.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there. I'd have a rigor mortis set. But know that there was a 36-page memo from Colonel Earl Matthews, and he gave, to the to this council. Now he gave, he had held a high-level National Security Council Pentagon roles during the Trump administration, and he's slamming with the Pentagon's IG for what he calls an error-riddled report that protects a top Army official who argued against sending the National Guard to the Capitol on 1/6, delaying the insurrection for hours. And he called these two absolute and unmitigated liars. And the two that he's talking about is the one is Four-Star General Charles Flynn, and the other is Lieutenant General Walter Piatt, or Piatt, whatever you want to call him. And Flynn, his brother, is Trader Mike, and he had last year about on the 20th or so, it'll be a year ago. It was kind of like the going away gift that they gave for this man. He got his 4th star. It was by a voice vote from Congress and whatnot. And later on, after this insurrection bit, and he had to. The Army and that had to, wipe the egg off their face because he had been in on that phone call when that he had participated in that phone call where the Capitol Police were pleading for the National Guard troops to assist in securing the Capitol grounds. And like I told the late great friend Dick back at the end of January, it was about 3 weeks after the insurrection. They took care of him real good. They gave him this guy, the U.S. command on the west, the Pacific region, and that's the region where the Pentagon's attention is increasingly shifted to confront the rising China. So,
right.
This guy now, if he's lying and stuff like that, he ought to be defrocked and stuff. They ought to take that star, at least a star, away from him again.
Right. So apparently they said that Piatt said on the call that he wouldn't advise McCarthy to deploy the D.C. National Guard because he said the presence of uniformed military personnel could inflame the situation and that really the police were the best suited to handle the situation. I talked to, our friend John O'Malley, who's a deputy of public safety for the city of Chicago. I talked to him about how it seemed as though if that was the truth, then they would have equipped them with riot gear, and they hadn't even done that. So it's lies all around.
Right. And then, going back, remember when Milley marched in his battle dress uniform there that time?
Right.
Instead of Class A uniform. And, being a general, he should have known better what the uniform of the day was, or, going where he was going in that time, too. But, and for those earlier riots that Trump and them, they had a couple of National Guard units that were just kind of trained, like I think it was a Kentucky, and there was another one. There were 2 of them.
Well, they certainly had plenty of military personnel when there was a Black Lives Matter protest, and certainly had no problem tear gassing the protesters so they could make their way and have a fake photo shoot in front of a church with an upside down Bible. So
exactly,
yep.
That's the one, like I say, where Milley was marching with them, in that
right.
Square, Washington Square, whatever it was. But and in closing, so you can get to all the other guys, and that. It was just kind of a scary thought. If this guy does run again and gets back in, what are the odds you think that Trump would pardon those 2, the parents of that
Crumley? Oh, no doubt about it. Like you mean the kid? Right, because
she wrote a love letter to him, didn't she? Saying how she adored, with the gun thing.
Oh, all bets are off. If look, I'm trying not to go there yet. I'm worried about in the shorter term this idea that they could make Trump the Speaker of the House if they win back the House. That's horrifying. Ugh.
Yeah. How about Nunez? He bailed out. He's going on this one that's already under scrutiny. I don't know. There's something don't smell good in Mudville here. But anyway, listen, Ty, let me get off. I know there's others that are dying.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. Have a great evening. Stay warm, okay?
Yeah, you too. Be well.
Take care, you too. Actually, to that, one of our texters earlier wanted to talk about Nunez. Regarding the decision of Devin Nunes to leave Congress, it's interesting to note that the current ranking Republican member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady of Texas, has also decided not to run for re-election. This is a texter again from the 708. It's just my speculation, but I believe that the billionaire powers that be that really run the Republican Party might prefer that the current third-ranking member, Vern Buchanan of Florida, become the next chairman of Ways and Means. Nunes is a clown, while Buchanan is a former 30-year businessman with a net worth in excess of $150 million, who is currently the third wealthiest member of Congress. He's also a former official and member of the board of the United States Chamber of Commerce. Vern Buchanan. I need to do more research on some of these folks because really that, and again with the idea of the rich pulling the strings in so many situations. But it says Vern Buchanan seems like just the right chairman of Ways and Means that the top 1% wants to see writing tax legislation, and that often seems to be the case in these situations. Ron is on hold. I'm going to come back and take your calls. When we come back, you're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. We're live on WCPT 820, and hope that you're happy, healthy, and safe. Be careful out there. I want to make sure that, and if you are wondering about ways in which you can help folks who are without shelter, reach out to your local churches and groups. I know in Jefferson Park we have the Working Group for the Homeless. You can go on Facebook and find out ways where you can donate coats and jackets and sweatpants. Sweatpants and socks seem to be items that are in high demand, as well as, of course, blankets. More in a moment.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Is it time to log out of social media? I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. You might remember back in October when Facebook and Instagram went down for half the day. It showed us how reliant we are on social media in different ways to distract ourselves, to escape, to connect, to cope with anxiety and stress. So said Ian Kerner, a marriage and family therapist. What was different about this day was that everyone was offline. So you weren't missing out on anything. There was this bizarre, very clear sense of relief, said therapist John Duffy. Some people sought out friends to see in person. Others realized they could check their feeds once or twice a day instead of a dozen. Bottom line, the experts we talked to recommend a detox of a whole month. Enough time for your brain's reward pathways to reset so you can come back and use the apps smarter. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is only $19.99. It's the hottest deal of the year for the coldest time of the year. So if you're in your car right now, there's no need to turn on the heat. I'm about to read this sizzler again. That's Napa full synthetic for a hot $19.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sale price not available in some states. Offer ends 12/31/21.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
On January 6, 2021, followers of Trump and something called QAnon attempted a coup at the United States Capitol. Who are these people?
I want to live with the QAnon girl. I could be happy the rest of my life with a QAnon girl.
Little fun music from Steve Goody from his album What I Did During my Pandemic Vacation. 773-763-WCPT is a number to join the conversation because, well, you're not joining it. It is your conversation. And I do have a pair of tickets to give away to Zanies tonight. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. Lady B just needs to get your last name to leave at the door if you'd like to join us at the show tonight. Be caller number 2. Let me take Ron on the line right now. Colin from the 773. Hi, Ron. How's it going tonight?
Oh, pretty good. There was somebody who was sentenced to prison today because of their activity in the January 6th riot, and all she had to say was, "Well, if I lose 30 pounds when I'm in prison, it'll be worth it." You know, what planet are these people from?
I saw this. Yep. Yes, she said that she's the one that was that took the private jet to D.C. She said, "I'm blonde, I'm white, I'm not going to prison." So now she's like, "I'm blonde, I'm white, fine, I'll go to prison, but I'm going to do yoga while I'm there, and I'm going to detox, and I'm going to lose the 40." I think she said 30 pounds. You know what bothered me about that, Ron? I was like, she weighs the same I do, and I would also like to get down to 140, but I'm not going to go and storm the Capitol. Like,
there's better ways to lose a couple pounds, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, here, how about this? I'll look at the bright side of this. Maybe if she truly is going to do yoga, because yoga is not necessarily, because there are conservatives who think of it as something that's like not American to do. It's not like a tough white American thing to do. Maybe through meditation, maybe her mind will clear. And isn't it amazing how much Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about how poorly the January 6th prisoners are being treated? And yeah, the prison system is not great. That's why we do everything we can to make sure that people don't break the law. How about you not break the law? How about you? She's like, they're being poorly treated because of the color of their skin. Okay, I'm sure that a lot of people want to say, "Welcome to the party, pal."
Right. Okay, thank you.
So Ron's like, we were talking about way more than I thought we would. Have a great night, Ron. That was one of the things I was actually going to talk about was this rioter from January 6th who says that fine, if she has to go to jail, she'll have to, since she can't drink anymore, she'll quit drinking and she'll be doing yoga in prison, and she's planning to lose 30 pounds. She wants to get down to 140. So she's using it like her own little spa. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go and I'm going to I meant for this to happen. This is it. She's, you know what? How about these rioters are all going to start like prison spas so that they can. It worked for me. It can work for you. You can see them all making infomercials and telling it. Doing their TikTok videos of how they got lean by standing up for America and stopping the election. And I lost 30 pounds. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Some of these folks just make me crazy. I agree. Look, what we all want, and I talk about this quite a bit on the show, is we want justice, and we don't want to see somebody who broke the law, who was treasonous, say, I'm just going to go do some yoga. It's not really that big of a deal. I just can't with people like that, and I'm with Ron on that. It's disgusting. I did want to talk about a lot of these stories in the news. I also, I think a lot of you know that we are in the middle of a surge, another winter surge in Chicago, and the city of Chicago is considering whether or not they are going to need more proof of vaccination in different places. We have we've gone up by 50% when it comes to COVID cases in the last, let's see, the positivity rate just for Chicago is 4.1. A week ago, it was 3.2. And to give you context, on November 1st, we were at 1.6. So it is possible the city's going to require people to show proof of vaccination for public activity. So if you're going to sporting events, maybe, and I again, at Zanies tonight, you will need to show proof of vaccination at the door. So and everyone will be masked. So it's really important. And I get that there are folks out there who want to say, well, the Omicron is not as, the symptoms are more mild. It's not as severe as the Delta. It's more highly transmissible. There are 50 different mutations as opposed to the variants inside the mutation, and they cling to the spike, the proteins. In contrast, the Delta only has 10. So while the symptoms might be mild, the more it spreads, now we are then continuing this cycle of giving it the opportunity to mutate more. You don't want, and we also are seeing the spread amongst animals too. This is not. the best way for us to slow this down, we are beyond being able to get rid of COVID. I don't know if there was ever a window of opportunity, but certainly having terrible leadership here and in other parts of the world, let this spread at a rate that has killed hundreds of thousands of people. But now we can do the best we can to save more lives, to lessen the impact, the negative impact, whether if your thing is the economy and businesses, well, the way we do that is by getting more people vaccinated. And I know there are people who are still concerned. Why? I had my vaccination in March, my first vaccination in March, my second in April, and maybe you don't like the sound of my voice, and you consider that to be the sound effect. I don't know the side effect. I don't know what more we can do to convince folks. There aren't. If you're following misinformation, if people have told you that it magnetizes your blood, and that's the extreme of the QAnoners, but if you think that there are these horrible side effects, they are extremely rare, and I get it. I have had in the past in my life a reaction to a flu shot, and then we switched to the nasal spray, and I have been fine both with either nasal sprays or with flus. It is extremely rare, and it is. People are dying, and we can manage this. But if we continue to let it spread, it is going to mutate more. It's going to learn our bodies. That's why we have the Omicron. In Africa, only 25% of residents, I believe, are fully vaccinated. And because of that, the virus is able to transmit from person to person and have these different variations. So please do your best to encourage us. I know that I love Hal Sparks. Man, is he brilliant. He covers so much territory, and he talks about how we need to shame people into doing the right thing. And I have some of that in certain areas, but I'm not there with a lot of these things. I don't want to beg, but I'm begging you. Begging you, if you can get vaccinated, if you are medically able, please do so. We still are hovering in the low 60s, which sounds like more than half, but then you are exposing people who aren't able to get vaccinated. You are also overburdening the healthcare system. Our medical professionals are stretched thin, they are exhausted, and they are doing the best that they can. So, as we head into the much colder season, please take care of yourselves. And it's not something to continue to just dismiss as it's not, this is mild. It's survivable. Yes, it's survivable. And we also are having more people now diagnosed with long haul side effects, with whether it's memory loss, fatigue. There are things that are going to affect those people for years and years, and we have to manage that too. That's also going to continue to be a strain on our healthcare system. And we talked yesterday about whether or not, I believe Representative John Carroll, who has introduced a bill to basically say that if you're not going to get vaccinated, then you must cover some of your costs. I think there are different variations of that, whether it's a higher payment for your a higher premium, things like that. And I've seen a lot of folks who are saying that's not legally possible, that the insurance companies can't do that. But I wonder how many more businesses, as they see how expensive it is for their workers and how much of a strain it is on their health care coverage, how many more businesses are going to follow suit like some of the airlines have, whether it's charging $200 a month if you continue to refuse to be vaccinated. 773-763-WCPT. Are the folks in your world, are they vaccinated? Do you continue to have family members who do not want to get vaccinated? And if so, are you going to see them this Christmas? I know a lot of my friends are split. They're not going to visit family members. They're avoiding them. They're like, you know what? Agree to disagree is one thing, but you are putting my family in danger, and I can't risk that. Just because you've been vaccinated, you still want to make sure that if you're going to be around someone who wants to take that kind of a chance, it's not something that you want to take lightly. I know what I wanted to make sure I talked about, but first I want to talk to Judy from Niles. Hi, Judy. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing well. My husband had to go take his driving test today because we're over 80 every 2 years.
Okay.
And he had kind of forgotten. And, of course, last spring we couldn't go. I couldn't go. I went very, very late. And he should have gone then when it was nicer out.
Yes.
But I had to go inside because I couldn't stay outside. It was too cold.
It was too cold, yes.
So I went in, but everybody was wearing their mask. And, they were quite strict about that. I don't think they let anybody in without it. People don't seem to be too upset about it. I talked to a cousin in Texas and a cousin in Florida, and this summer they said, we should come down because we can go out and eat and you don't have to wear a mask. I don't mind wearing the mask. It's nothing.
Right.
This is not a hill I want to die on.
No.
No. I was laughing at the fancy masks we had. There was one lady that had a completely sparkly jewelry one over.
Right.
They're making fashion statements with it.
May as well. I've seen ones that have like a little chain, so they can wear, for your glasses or your readers. You have like those little.
Oh yeah, they have those now.
Yeah, so you have like a lovely little chain that holds your mask around your neck, rather than like.
Yeah, I've finally done all of that stuff. I had my mammogram finally.
Me too. I had a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
I love going where I go. I have to go in Nordstrom's. Isn't that awful?
Wait, I'm sorry. Your
yes,
tech is
the mammogram is inside Nordstrom's in Old Orchard.
I didn't know that. I've never what in the
yes.
I didn't know this. So you do a little shopping. You're
Last year I got a coat out of it.
That's a nice incentive to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Even this year we looked around at a lot of stuff before we went. We didn't buy it as usual, but it's nice.
That sounds
it's a much more pleasant surroundings.
I agree. By the way,
and
Judy,
I went to a bar mitzvah on Sunday, so
and everyone was being safe.
They were
great.
We were invited to my daughter-in-law's nephew, and I said, "Well, I've seen one," but my husband said, "I've never seen one." I said, "Okay, we'll go." They were very specific. You must wear a mask. You must be vaccinated. If you aren't, please don't come.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very careful about it, but we did not go to the supper later on because we just really...
Yeah.
It was after dark, and it was long, and people would have their masks off to eat, and we thought, no.
Yeah. Yeah, take care of yourself,
Yeah.
We all have our limits and the exposure we want.
Yeah, it was... I have a few things wrong with me, but generally they're not... I take pills for high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all of that stuff, but I don't have asthma. I don't have, we don't have those sort of things.
Right.
So we feel that we're, doing well. But everyone around here is really, I don't think we're having that argument too much here. Although in Nordstrom's there were several people without them. And I was surprised at that because I haven't been anywhere in Niles or Morton Grove or, right around here. Everyone has it, and I haven't seen any arguments at the door or... Oh,
I feel so lucky that I haven't seen a single argument. I have not.
No,
only online.
Yeah, I'm happy everybody's got them on. It's just better.
Me too.
But the lady that sat next to me, I sat a seat away, but so we ran out of seats, so this lady came and sat down, and immediately, even though she had the mask on, went, yeah. And a little while later, after I was able to move down the seat, she sneezed, and I thought, oh, wow, maybe I should stand out for a while until I get too cold.
Oh, boy. Yep.
It wasn't bad, though.
No.
We didn't need I guess if you're over the age of 65, you don't have to make an appointment. You just go.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I have to go to the break, Judy, but two things.
Yes, please. I'm so happy.
But I want to tell you,
all this is over. I've gotten so many things accomplished.
And when this is all over, I hope you come see one of my comedy shows. But you're getting texts from the 708. I love Judy, but now I have to change my sheets. You remind us all that we need. I was just telling my husband this yesterday, and I got a text from my husband who says how lovely you are. So I just want you to know that you've got fans on my show.
That's so sweet.
Yep.
Oh, well, you made my day.
Well, you've made our day as well, Judy. Have a good night, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Let's take a break here. We'll take your calls. We've got some of our friends on hold right now. 773-763-9278 to get in on the conversation on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. Be right back on WCPT 820.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
Forest Park-bound Blue Line trains are standing at Clark Lake with police activity. Metro's UP North Line trains are not operating either way with emergency track repairs. Headed inbound on the Edens bumper-to-bumper Willow most of the way down to the Kennedy Merge. Lake Cook Road down to the junction 33, 16 on the flip. Now on the Kennedy outbound, 20 to the split, 19 in the express, 39 out to the airport. Inbound from O'Hare, 47, 15 at that end from the junction. Ike outbound busy to 25th Avenue. Circle to 390, 47. Inbound 1 hour. Stevenson outbound at California crash. From DuSable Lakeshore Drive on out to 355 and 50. The Ryan is 23 out to 95th, 25 on the reverse. That's traffic. I'm Mary DeBadges.
Audible is the best place to listen for everything you're into, from comedy and motivation to popular podcasts and best-selling audiobooks. Right now, take advantage of a special holiday offer and save 60% on your first 3 months. Learn more and sign up at audible.com.
This is John Daniel, President and Business Manager of the Sheet Metal Workers of Smart Local 265. The principles that guide me are rooted in the simple belief that united we stand and divided we fall. We the people must recognize that a diverse environment with unique points of view is the foundation for success. A culture where labor and management work together inspires innovation, promotes inclusion, creates a sustainable growth for business, the workforce, and our communities. When the entrepreneur's vision is developed and improved with the voice of a unionized workforce, you build more than just a product, you build a stronger future. I want to personally thank everyone who voted for President Biden. He believes in unions. Blue Collar Biden signed the American Rescue Act of 2021, which secures vested pension benefits. It funds improvements of indoor air quality in K-12 schools and provides additional Paycheck Protection Program loans to support small businesses. This is John Daniel from Smart Local 265. Join me in celebrating a return to sanity and a sustainable middle class. Stay union strong.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
We know you're not quick with opinions beyond your tight circle of friends, but that's why people listen whenever you choose to weigh in. You've been a clear voice of reason, careful when choosing words. Now that it's down to what's right and what's wrong, it's time for that voice to be heard.
What a timely song from our friend Chris Jones. You can go to chrisjonesgrass.com. He's a lovely musician and songwriter, and I recommend his music highly. Jim's on hold and joining our conversation. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind?
Hi, Patty. I'm just thinking about the two department store Santas. You got the Democratic Santa with his COVID card in his hand sanitizer, and the kids are lined up to see him. Then you've got the department store Republican Santa, whose nose is running, he's sneezing, and nobody dares go near him, not even the manager. That should be it's sad, but it's appropriate for the holidays. You know what I mean? They should have it in the New York magazine, you know. I mean, it's ludicrous that, these enclaves of the Trump supporters, for some reason, they're going to go to their death believing that somehow this guy's going to resurrect them somehow. I don't know. I mean, it's just preposterous. But the point is, can you imagine the two Santas? You think of the Democratic State Santa, and you've got the maniac, COVID-ridden Steeler Santa. Anyway, it's horrible. It's horrible to think about. But it's absurd. I mean, I never thought I would live to see this. I mean, I had a lot of tragedy in my life, a lot of crazy stuff, but this one takes the cake. I mean, I never thought I'd see this, where you see 40% of people won't get a vaccination because they're holding out to be, holding their mouth to turn their face blue. They're holding their breath to turn their face blue for some reason.
I agree.
Anyway,
I will say this, Jim. I will say this. When Trump won, I knew it was going to be bad, and when this started to unfold, I'm like, "Yep, here it is. This is what I thought. This is what I thought was going to this kind of thing." I didn't think it was going to be that, but it felt like what I worried about in 2015 when he announced he was going to run for president.
You know what's crazy? I watched the Republican debates. And I was at the track. I got on CNN, and I watched it, and I think to myself, boy, these people they don't have a good candidate among them, right?
Right.
So I wanted to take a cab, and a couple come out, man and a woman, about, let's say, 50-ish, and I'm just waiting for a cab, and I go, boy, that Trump, I said, boy, is he nuts? And they both the guy wanted to fight, the guy wanted to start boxing.
Yeah.
The girl went nuts, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we love, and I thought,
we're in trouble.
Oh boy, what is this? What the hell is this? Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. No, I the first night when he came down on that escalator, I was on the air. I had a late night show, and I said, and I didn't insult him. I said, be very careful because Donald Trump could very well be the next president of the United States. And we started getting angry calls and texts, and I hadn't even disparaged him. And they were like, we need to get rid of liberals like you. We need someone like Donald Trump. And I'm like, where did these people come from? I had no idea that there was already this following, like this sort of like they were waiting for him. They were waiting for someone to rip off the lid and just want to be able to treat people and say things and be racist and intolerant in so many different ways. I know.
Real quick, Katie, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but real quick. What the amazing part of that debate was Jeb Bush, who got $100 million from the establishment of the Republican Party, was their front runner. Trump was a nut. And Trump turns to Jeb Bush and said, why did your brothers go into Iraq and Afghanistan? And Jeb is dumbfounded. Now, if somebody gave me $100 million and I was a candidate, I'm sure that the lady next door would run that by me before I left for the debate stage. You follow me?
Yeah.
That was amazing. But I don't know how dumbed down we become, but I think we become dumbed down. I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, Patty, have a good night tonight. I used to say break a leg. And first time I ever went on stage, the guy said to me, break a leg. And I thought, you mean son of a gun. I don't know what he meant. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jim, my mom used to say, she would say, my mom's from Mexico. So sometimes phrases like that don't translate or aren't natural. She would say, go break your legs. Was what she would say.
Did she? Yeah, because the kid told me that. I was going up there and the kid told me that. And I'm like, wait, what a mean kid to say that to me,
Yeah.
But,
right.
I finally figured it out. Anyway, have a good night tonight. Thanks, Patty.
Take care. Thanks so much, Jim. I was just reading today this piece in the Washington Post by Brian Klass, who talks about how, what politicians fear the most is they fear two things. They fear losing power and money, and obviously in American politics, that those two go together. And getting elected, you have to have a lot of money. You have to have powerful people backing you. You have to have an overflowing war chest. That's a lot of the mechanics of being able to run for office successfully. But with the Democrats, there's this is something we'll talk about maybe later in the week. There's the Democratic Committee of Cook County has issued a policy that's interesting. It's going to affect a lot of candidates. If we need to break this down with some of our friends who are committee people, because we've talked a little bit about slating, what that means to get slated as a candidate, in particular with judicial races. So I want to get into that a little bit later. But I want to talk about how, if there's one thing maybe we need to be paying attention to are the companies that support authoritarian Republicans. That's where they get a lot of their money. That's how they continue to have power. So we need to pay attention to the companies that are giving them these huge war chests. So how do you need to, because being an authoritarian it's expensive, and if you don't fall in line with that tone, voters will. If you don't fall in line with the tone of Trump and people like Marjorie Greene Taylor, if you're not a Republican who's posing with assault rifles or whatever, please don't tell me that there's no such thing. Fine, really scary guns, big rifles that look like they have a high capacity to kill a lot of people, and they have this whole family posing in front of a Christmas. Oh, I'm getting fired up. Roosevelt, talk me off the ledge before I start yelling into my microphone. Hi, Roosevelt. Roosevelt? Hello? Nope, we don't. Roosevelt, call back on a different line. Maybe that line's not on right now, because we had this happen, I think, yesterday with Jim, because I can't hear. I swear I have all the buttons pushed. Let me try this one again. Oh, there it is. Roosevelt? I had you for a second. No? That time I pushed too many buttons. There. Roosevelt, do me a favor and just call us right back, will you? Let me see if I can do this. Take him off hold. There we go. All right. Anyway, Roosevelt, we've got the phone lines are lighting up for other conversations. I want to mention, as I was talking about the committee people and finding out more about how our candidates are chosen, when you are slated or endorsed by an organization, let's say it's a committee, let's say the 41st Ward Dems or the different organizations like the unions and things like that. What that means is you get support, you get financial support, you get manpower, you get people who volunteer, will go door knocking with you, and it's important for candidates to have when I ran, I didn't have, it was primarily individual donors. I had some support from a couple of unions and electeds, and it's hard. It's hard to come in from the outside. And but when we have very powerful companies and putting a lot of money into conservatives, I think we need to pay attention to where we spend our money. I know that and sometimes you're like, well, I just need to go to Home Depot and get some paint, so I need to be able to go shopping there. If you can make choices where you can, try to put your dollars somewhere else, because otherwise we are powerless in this. This is a lot of the protests of the 50s and 60s. What we're about, when money walks. Wait, what is it? Money talks. So let's walk. Money talks. Nope. Power walks. I was just saying that my mom had got a phrase wrong. Here I am. I'm sure my husband will text that to me in a moment. I'm trying to say too many things at once. Let me get to Roosevelt before I go to the break, because I know that you were trying to get on a moment ago. Roosevelt, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hi, Roosevelt.
How you doing? Hey, listen, to add on to stupid things that Marjorie Taylor Greene has said, you heard what she said 2 days ago? She said that 600,000 people get cancer a year. You don't see nobody shutting down businesses.
Yeah, because, when I cough, I give somebody cancer. Does she not know? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And that's exactly what Stephen Colbert said last night. He goes, immunity is not contagious. So that tells you that the uneducated are already up in Washington, the people that Trump said he loved. Remember that?
Yep.
So, and on a sidebar, do you remember Melania, how she decorated the White House? Red Christmas trees.
It looked so not even gothic. It looked, apocalyptic. It really looked post-apocalyptic. Yep.
Oh, it was, and my mom hates the fact what she did to the rose garden. She just took all the roses out. That has been there since Jackie O. Since Jackie Kennedy. So
yeah, they want.
She took that right before she left.
Yep, you want to prove that they were trash.
And all these guys, all they've done, the Trump guys, all they do is steal ideas from somebody else, whether it's Fox News, whether it's Michelle Obama. Remember when she when she had that speech, it was Michelle Obama's speech, and she copied it?
Yes, yeah.
Totally. It's like a comedy. It's unbelievable, this stuff that has happened, that happened those 4 years.
It's a tragic comedy, though. It's not a comedy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a good comedy either. It's like oh gosh, now see, I have all these things that flood into my head. What was the name of that movie with Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty, that was like the worst movie of all time. It was supposed to be funny, but it was just a disaster. I feel like we're in that movie. I never even saw it, but I just remember everyone hated it so much. Now I have to Google it while I'm talking to you, Roosevelt.
Yeah, I got to Google it too. I don't remember seeing it, and I'm a big Dustin Hoffman.
That's because no one saw it. Everybody, it was panned. It was like one of the biggest Ishtar in 1987. Yeah. It was like one of the. It was considered this humongous flop. I feel like we're in that. Like we were in the desert.
Okay, I'm not going to hold you up because I know you're going on break.
I'm going to go to the break, Roosevelt. Good to hear your voice. I'm glad we got you on. Take care, Roosevelt. I'll talk to you soon. Let's take a break here, and we'll get some more of your calls when we come back. 773-763-9278. And if you don't have any plans tonight, I'll be at Zany's on Wells, and I've got some T-shirts and items to give away to our listeners. Just let me know that you heard about it on the show. Go to zanys.com for tickets to tonight's show. There's 3 comics, me and Mike O'Keefe and Dan Ribsky. More in a moment on Driving It Home with me, Patti Vasquez.
If you're looking to purchase a new home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Dahlia, 27, nurse, wanted to purchase a home. Dahlia talked with an online lender who did not answer her questions, so she called her mom for advice. Dahlia's mom recommended she contact the only lender she trusted to help her daughter finance her first home, Team Hochberg. We answered Dahlia's questions, held her hand throughout the process, and secured the mortgage on her first home. Let's review. Dahlia consulted with an online lender who didn't answer her questions. Then, based upon her mom's recommendation, called Team Hochberg, and we helped Dahlia secure the mortgage on her new home. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners' kids secure mortgages on their new home purchases, like we helped Dahlia, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
We are heading into the home stretch on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. And I know that Brian's been on hold for a little bit. Would love to hear from you, Brian. What's going on in your world, Brian?
Hi, Patty. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Trying to stay warm this evening.
Oh, yeah, yes, indeed. Today is December 7th, 2021,
yes,
and 80 years ago was the attack on Pearl Harbor, and I believe that later that evening, Franklin Delano Roosevelt got the declaration of war against the Empire of Japan, and the very next day, Nazi dictator of Germany, Adolf Hitler, declared war on the United States. All U.S. citizens, I think, today should try to study something about World War II and all contributions of all soldiers and the women who worked in the factories, Rosie the Riveters, and you've heard of them, and also let's see, World War II, 1941 to 1945. America beat off the fascist dictators without the contributions of all U.S. citizens at that time. Everyone in the United States would have been killed, and so I think that we would not be having this conversation with each other today without those contributions of those people at that time. And I suggest people read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Schreier, very relevant to what happened in World War II.
I want to say this. I want to go back to I feel like I get to share something with you today, Brian, because you always have such a wealth of information for us that you want to share. I do. You mentioned Rosie the Riveter. As an undergrad, I worked on stories about the WASPs, who were the women, the women Air Force service pilots, which was established in 1943, and they flew over 60 million miles, whether it was target practice or ferrying planes. And there were about 19, if I recall correctly, there might be more, who died in service to the United States and were not given the military honors until President Carter. So there were also the WAVES. They were the women's branch of the Navy. These are incredible stories. So I want to thank you so much for reminding me so that I can go back and learn more and refresh my memory on those incredible branches of the military as well, because there were women who served in the military. And also as nurses. Have you ever seen the movie So Proudly They Served?
No, I haven't seen that one. Let me write that. No, how proudly.
Veronica Lake. It's a Veronica Lake movie. It's nurses that were serving in the Philippines. Let me see. So proudly. And another thing, right? We have a lot of nurses who were serving in combat zones. So you're right. I mean, there's so many different parts of it that we couldn't even possibly cover in this conversation, but it was all set in motion by Pearl Harbor. And, in the years before, the reluctance of the United States to get involved, wanting to be isolationist and not have anything to do with what was going on globally, because we were coming out of the Depression. So, they awoke the tiger, as they say.
Yes.
So Proudly We Hail. Was a 1943 movie. It also stars. Oh, I love Claudette Colbert. We could do this all night, Brian, but that's a great movie too.
How Proudly We Hail.
Yes.
Okay. I'll see if I can find those. I'd love to see them.
Yep.
And thank you so much for taking my call, Patty. And I just wanted to, especially for your younger listeners who, perhaps are not much yet aware, they should, all those who made a contribution to defeating the Axis evil powers should never be forgotten.
Yep. I agree. Thank you so much for the reminder. I feel like I can do movies and you do song lyrics. How's that sound, Brian? We'll go back and forth that way. Sound good?
Pardon, Patty?
I feel like your expertise is in music lyrics and mine is in movies. So I appreciate that's ways for us to keep those moments in history that you and I connect with. That's one of the ways that we share those thoughts. That's how I do it. Have a great night, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patty.
Of course. Take care. And we've got Ralph, who's been hanging on there. Hi, Ralph. I appreciate wanting to change topics. What are your thoughts?
Hi, Patty. I just wanted to mention about that family that's old without those assault weapons or AR-15s, and I don't know what else they had in their possession. I think that's just ridiculous. Actually, some of those, it looks like some teenagers holding. It is illegal to own an assault weapon or a gun until the age of 21. Last time I heard, and that picture just the NRA wants us to think that it's just as easy as apple pie to have these assault weapons. It's ridiculous.
Right. Are laws regarding hunting and purposes of the weapons that have younger ages for gun ownership or possession.
But I don't think they include assault weapons.
Well, assault weapons should not be included regardless, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, absolutely.
When that expired was when we started having higher rates of mass shootings.
Yes, absolutely. You know, we're having a hard time closing these gun show loopholes because 40% of profits that are coming out of these manufacturers are actually they're profiting. 40% of their revenue. They count on it because of the loopholes.
Yeah,
we must close these.
Yes,
we must close these loopholes.
I agree, Ralph.
We're putting weapons. We're putting weapons into the hands of people that shouldn't have them. They're using them. You know, Chicago, as you well know, and your audience knows, we're in an epidemic of gun violence in this city and across the nation.
We truly are.
We really must act on it.
We gotta keep showing up, Ralph. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to run Lady B. Thank you for everything tonight. It was always good to see you. And thank you everyone who joined our conversation and everyone who joined us on Facebook. And thank you for listening and hanging out with us. I'll be at Zany's tonight on Wells. Tomorrow we are going to have Dr. John Duffy. He's a psychologist. He primarily works with teenagers and trauma. And obviously going through the pandemic has been stressful. We'll talk a little bit about the shooting in Michigan, but also ways in which we can take care of ourselves, check in emotionally and mentally. Have a great evening, everyone. Be happy, healthy, and safe, and we will talk to you again tomorrow at 5. Take care.
Tom Hartman.
So what is it if it's not poverty that causes crime? What is it? Well, it